The Argo is really a remarkable vehicle. It's designed for one mission, which is to visit nearby star system, Barnard Star. Astronauts determine the likelihood that this planet around Barnard Star is habitable and suitable for habitation, or at least terraforming or some kind of conversion.
One of the major things we tried to do with the overall project, especially in the pilot, is we tried to be technically correct. We tried to be right. We tried to think about what kind of technology would they have in the future. What would be practical. We wanted to really make it seem like you were in an actual spaceship.
Everything we did as far as the interior of the Argo production design was based directly off what we see in the ISS. We tried to make it look as much as a functioning spaceship. A lot of shows that do space shows, you have people running around in single-piece jumpsuits and rank insignia, but if you look at actual working astronauts, they're usually pretty close to being in their pajamas. So we based a lot of the environment and a lot of the costuming directly off what we see in the ISS in the real world.
It's extremely fast. It's propelled by a black hole drive. It generates an artificial black hole using concentrated beams of neutrons and protons. The material falling into the black hole passing the event horizon generates Hawking radiation, and then this Hawking radiation is deflected and used to propel the ship. There are two inward-facing engines and a heavily shielded habitation section. Instead of having to turn the ship around for acceleration and deceleration, they simply, as a pendulum, they move the habitation section along this central gantry furthest away from the engine that's firing. That engine fires, it shuts off, they move it to the other side, and that engine fires, let's say, for deceleration, and that's how the Argo moves.
I was still in Florida when Stan was explaining a lot of these elements, and when he talked about the colony, this massive structure just floating in orbit around Earth, and it holds 3 million people. It's just this massive floating city.
In the 1970s, physicist Gerard O'Neill came up with a set of sort of conceptual designs for future habitation of space. The concepts he came up with, he called them Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3. Ours, I believe, is a Type 2. It's a cylinder. The idea being it's several kilometers long. Ours is 30 kilometers by 15 kilometers. Big cylinder with huge deflecting mirrors. And the idea is that you rotate the cylinder to generate 1 g of Earth gravity, and then inside this cylinder, on the inner surface, you put towns and cities and trees and plants and hills and parks and all that sort of stuff. You fill it with air, and then sunlight is bounced inside the cylinder in a controlled manner by these folding pedal mirrors that can open and close.
And when you see it in the pilot, I mean, it's everything I wanted it to be and more.
It's a very classic sci-fi design. It's used really only when you're thinking in hard sci-fi terms, and that's what we are. We're hard sci-fi, so we thought, okay, we need an O'Neill colony, and that's what that is.